I think you agree with me on this. The system only works if black people stay silent. You agree, right? Now let's get into it. Let me tell you the truth America will never admit publicly. The system only works if black people stay silent. Silent about the past, silent about injustice, silent about unfair treatment, silent about what they built, silent about their rights. Silence is the fuel that keeps oppression running. From the beginning of America, every system, education, justice, policing, economics, was structured with one expectation. Black people should work, give, produce, serve, but remain quiet. Because the moment black voices rise, the system starts shaking. Not because those voices are violent, but because truth is the most dangerous weapon in America. America is not afraid of black crime. They created the narrative. The country is not afraid of black strength. They benefit from it. What terrifies America? Let me tell you what terrifies America is blackness, black awareness, black boldness, black unity, black intelligence, black truth spoken out loud. Because once black Americans speak, the lies start falling apart. And here's the problem for America today. Black people are not silent anymore. They are telling their stories. They are exposing the old system. They are educating each other. They are standing on their history. They are rejecting false labels. And when black people speak with confidence and clarity, the entire system malfunctions because it was never built to handle black voices, only black labor. Anyways, just watch these few videos and I will be back shortly. Let's watch.
I got to say something. There are all kind of tactics used to make black people be silent about their history in this world, specifically the United States. And of course, this country doesn't want us to talk about it and what's happening now. That would be quite convenient. So they say, when we do, you're just a victim or you have a victim mentality. And I get when oppressors do that. I understand why they would want us to be quiet, but it's annoying to me when black people get on here and say, well, Randy, I just try not to have a victim mentality. Be clear. Be very clear. Randy does not have a victim mentality. I would say the majority of black people I know do not have a victim mentality. We are ones to overcome. We are ones to make it in spite of our circumstances. We are ones to still find a way to celebrate, make a joke out of a lot of stuff that really ain't even that funny. That's who we are. Our spirits are solid. Acknowledging, however, systemic racism, acknowledging that we are 400 years behind, acknowledging microaggressions and microassaults that happen to us does not mean that we have a victim mentality. It does mean that a people and a system are trying to victimize us. And we absolutely should talk about it. We absolutely should call it out. I know I'm going to till I'm dead in this grave, because how do we make change if we do not call out what's happening to us? So stop trying to be the happy-go-lucky, smile and sing and shuck it and jive and black person and think that's going to get you anywhere, because you're still suffering the same things that we are. We're just brave enough to call it out. Don't come on here talking about some victim mentality. Your girl's super happy. Okay, most of the time I might have my days, but you know how it is. All right, just had to speak on it.
It's a shame that we don't have the rights to be black, but we have the rights to remain silent. We have the rights to shut our mouths, but if we speak, excuse me, can you tell me why you pulled me over, sir? Because you fit the description. In my eyes, you don't belong here, so I'm gonna shoot you until you can't breathe anymore. The big problem here is that we sacrificing our lives living by this false impression of make America great again. Fuck Trump. America was never great. Wait, let me rephrase that. America was never great for us black folks because we were so busy getting forced to serve for the white folks, so of course it was great for them. African Americans, my ancestors, had to run, hide, fight, and march just to get out of slavery. And we still have a movement that's about justice and peace, and that movement is called Black Lives Matter. They all shout, no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. So make America great again? No, because America will never be great if racism is never going to end.
Then a black man get on the internet, black American man get on the internet and state that he's tired of hearing about black history. He's tired of hearing about slavery and all the trauma and all the bad things that happen to black people. And we need to move past it and let it go and not say anything. Whoa. Let what go? Since you want to let it go, how about you say what you want to let go? How they used to hold black women down, strap them to beds, go through their you-know-what, and rip out organs? How they used to assault black men for just fun? How they used to hang black people for trees, but when the bodies reached the morgue, they would steal the bodies and sodomize them and or keep them? People didn't know that they ate Nat Turner. You know why, and the crazy part is they thought they were going to get superpowers because they did that. But then you go in the comment section and you see a whole bunch of other black people like, yeah, we need to let that stuff go. We need to let that stuff go. Really? If you can tell me all three of these people, then you can let black history go. Who's Henrietta Lacks? Who's Mary Ellen Pleasant? Who's Claudette Colvin? It sounds awful like white supremacy when they want you to turn the other cheek and not mention anything the oppressors ever did to you. You can talk about history and not have a victim mentality. I make 6 figures. I have investments. I have property. I'm married. I have 4 children. I'm active in all their lives. You will have to spray me in gasoline and light me on fire the day that I stop talking about black history. History related to your people, where you're from. But the truth is that a lot of people are ashamed that they come from oppression, not even realizing our power comes from pain. The dances, the music, the art, you can see the pain on paper.
I am so tired of black people who say, we are not our ancestors, because it shows a shocking lack of knowledge about our history. I saw a video today from a young brother, and his video was about how he conducted a live yesterday and a racist troll came into the live and stated that they cannot wait to put us back in chains. And so his video today was responding to that. And bottom line, he said, we're not submissive like our ancestors going around saying, yes, massa. That was just a one-off. Let me tell you something. The only reason you and I are here is because of our ancestors. And when you say we are not our ancestors, you are insulting them and their constant struggle for freedom and liberation. Because you best believe they fought every step of the way against their enslavement. From the moment they were crammed into those slave ships, making that transatlantic voyage, to the moment that they got here. You just haven't been taught that. It's not taught in what passes for an education system in the United States, for obvious reasons, because it props up white supremacy. But let me tell you something. There were slave revolts that happened all of the time. Enslaved people rising up against their oppressors. Whole families of enslavers being wiped out. Their food poisoned. Anytime the enslaved could get a hold of weapons, they used them. And it happened constantly. Stop saying that. But you know what? Those of you all who utter, we are not our ancestors, out of your mouth, you're right, you are not. You can't even manage to vote in your best interest, in that of your community. You talk about boycotts, but you can't give up football. You can't give up that basketball game, that Major League Baseball game. Those professional sports associations are some of the most racist institutions in this country. Look at who owns them. Look at who manages these teams. Look at how they responded to our protest against police brutality. That wasn't too long ago. But no, you want to know who's going to perform at the next Super Bowl halftime show. You're right. You are definitely not our ancestors, but the rest of us are. And frankly, we are tired of hearing disrespect from people who are ignorant of their history but should know better.
This is why they ban our history. They ban our history because black history by definition is political.
That's right.
Because black people by definition are political, right? Our history is political because every story of American greatness, every story of American exceptionalism you want to tell, here we are off to the corner. Say, how do you explain us?
That's right.
If all this is true, why are we here? If all this is true, how do you explain how you suppressed our rights for 350 years? How you bought and sold our ancestors? How you claim to be democratizing Europe, but denying violently democracy for black people here. So we're the most inconvenient people to the story of American exceptionalism.
Right.
So they want to ban our history because we give lie. Right? We reveal the lie of this country.
Right.
And we are heroes of that story. So what the research shows is that when you teach black children black history, they do better academically.
Absolutely.
This is not shocking.
That's right. It's right.
Right? If you see yourself in the story, then you have a powerful sense of who you are. Sure. And I know, this is why they ban our history, because once I got a little taste of black history, I became incorrigible as a student. I was challenging everything, right? I would go up in social studies like, where are we? Why aren't you talking about this? What about this, right? And so all of a sudden, you don't just accept the narrative that they give you, and you start to challenge it.
Right.
And you start to have an understanding. So because of this class I took at 15 years old with a black educator named Mr. Ray Dow, where he introduced me to Before the Mayflower by Lerone Bennett.
Sure.
And the year 1619, I became the child who would go on to create 1619 Project.
Wow.
If I don't get that class, I don't create this project.
That's right.
And so they want to ban the class because they don't want more of us.
That's right.
They don't want more Dr. Blacks. They don't want more Nicole Hannah Jones.
Right.
They don't want people who can help our children know that there is nothing wrong with black folks. There's something wrong with our country.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
When this granny slapped me at my grandmother's funeral, I wanted to politely address the issue, and people said that I couldn't because I was supposed to give unconditional respect towards older people since they hold our blessings. And this is a very colonial mindset because you're telling someone to be silent through their grievances, and that the more they suffer, the more they're silent, the more blessings that they get. And that's what colonialism tried to instill in black people, and clearly it's still working. And people will be like, well, in African culture and black culture, you're supposed to be showing respect and reverence towards older people. Yes, that's what I do, and that's why I have this deeply founded respect for being black and this deeply founded love for being African. But it doesn't mean that African people, old people, can talk to me anyhow. No. Or slap me anyhow. That's not respect. Like, enduring suffering isn't respect. You can disrespect someone and still endure the suffering that they give you. Do you know that that's possible? But anyway, and I think it also comes from this scarcity of blessings on the African continent. And I'm not even speaking about blessings, but the scarcity of opportunity in general, where now people are just grasping at atoms to get some luck, to get something, because Africans have been structurally and systemically deprived of life, of health, of rights, right? And so because people are so beyond done with scarcity, they're trying to find things to find abundance in, and you're not going to find blessings in someone who wants to slap you at your grandmother's funeral, and even when you're speaking to older people and they'll be like, well, we did fine, we are thriving, even if we enjoyed, why can't you enjoy? You're not thriving, you're surviving. There's a very thick line between thriving, right, and survival mode. And I think the vast majority of black South Africans, not even just the older generations, the younger generation too, the vast majority lives on survival mode. This is why when black South Africans argue like they're fighting for Pride Rock.
Black history actually triggers white guilt, and that's why they're trying to get rid of it. That's why the current administration is trying to remove things from museums and erase the history of Black people in this country and slavery. And I feel like it comes from a state of fear because they feel like what was done to our ancestors would be done to them if Black people are given a chance to reach positions of power or just be powerful people within this country. Like, I feel like it comes from a state of fear. And also, I feel like they have to put on this facade of white supremacy, but it's actually white inferiority because, to me, you're not going to enslave an entire race of people and have them build your whole country if you see these people as weaker than. And then also, you're not going to have these people put down, like, intentionally kept below in order for you to advance, but these people to stay down here. And then when these people eventually get to where you're at and succeed and overachieve, then the goalpost is moved and the bar is moved. Like, I feel like it literally all is from a place of fear. Like, basically, we don't want what was done to your ancestors by our ancestors to happen to us. But it's like, it makes me think of the slave owners who would have dreams or just be in a state of fear constantly that the slaves would one day revolt. And then also the slaves that ended up revolting against the slave owner and then burning down the plantation. Like, it all is just this state of fear. That what was done to our ancestors would be done to them. And so they have to put on this whole, white supremacy facade. And basically, we don't even learn the full history of everything that actually happened with slavery and African Americans within this country because they have to keep it a certain way because it actually causes fear. Like, it triggers within them a fear. And so they have to try to erase and get rid of that history because realistically, it is a reminder of what their ancestors did. And instead of, trying to solve that and figure it out, it makes them angry. It's like getting mad at someone for a valid reason and then them being mad at you because you got mad at them. Like, that's literally what this white guilt is. And it's literally attached to white supremacy, which is literally white inferiority, because again, you're not going to enslave an entire race of people and have them build an entire country and then also keep them at the lowest of low that you can and they still achieve if you actually believe that these people are weak. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not believing any of that.
Okay, I do have one more thing that's been sitting on me. I'm blanking on the gentleman's name, but he is, and I don't even want to say the wrong place where he's from because I don't want the people to, I think he's British. He has the Tyler videos. I think he did the video about Michael Jackson, Beyonce, whatever, Justin, Jeremy, whatever. I end up on his video last night. I didn't know black folks from around the globe disliked African Americans like this or saw us as the fucking problem. Did y'all know that? There are moments I wish I could go back to my Nebraska life where I didn't understand. I didn't understand this stuff. Like it was just black folks. Because I remember months ago when Cleo Trapper was on that podcast, and OG, was his name OG Mexican? Some shit like that, was on there saying nigga. And, everybody looked around like they had never heard that word before. And when people asked, why didn't she say something? Well, she's not African American. And I was just like, but she's so ingratiated in African American culture. And I keep coming back to it's cool for you to want the rhythm, but take on the blues as well. And mind you, I'm not a global scholar by any means, as the individuals on TikTok seem to all be. And I think it's a bit intellectually dishonest to pretend as if African Americans, black folks in America, aren't the most consistent at creating. We're not the most consistent tastemakers around cultural moments that black folks around the globe come to center on. We haven't created everything. But I'm like, well, it's just like, and as I looked at those comments, I was just like, well, what's going on here? Because you know, you got to remember they're Americans first. If music artists don't want to deal with the experience, with the perspectives of Black Americans, then don't try to cross over to American markets. Super fucking easy. Or maybe I'm slow. Could be. I'm just sitting with it. And why when there's moments that we're talking about movement around the Black experience, Black folks in America, it's my father's Nigerian. I've lived in Brooklyn for 25 years and I'm 26, but I'm Nigerian. Or the Maverick City man who sounds like he's been pulled up out the red dirt in Tennessee, but it's like, yeah, but he's not African American. And it's like, okay, cool. We cannot have expectations of folks to be in total solidarity because they're not African American. And also, then why do they get to benefit from the African American experience? Yes, because they're Black, right? Absolutely, they're Black. But why is and this always is the getcha gotcha, because this all shit feels normal to me because it's the same thing around trans. When you add those extra labels and shit, it's like it gets tricky. It's like, so 1 minute we all together. The next minute, you know what? Yeah, they're weird because they're Americans first. But then it's like when African Americans are like, but mind y'all fucking business, then it's like, but I ain't Black. I just think everybody just needs to stay the fuck away. It needs to give, like when you used to be arguing in the backseat of your mama's car. You sit on that side, you sit on that side. Stay the fuck away from me. I've spent many, many years of my life living a good life. I don't need Afro beats. I don't need Tyler. And the accents are cute, but you just a fuck nigga with an accent. I can go New Orleans. For one nigga that sounds festive, I can go New Orleans. You know? Okay.
Picture this. You've just watched 100 of your people get slaughtered. Babies thrown from windows, men shot in broad daylight, women beaten in the streets, and the president says nothing. The newspapers move on. The killers go home. What do you do? In 1917, 10,000 Black people answered that question by walking into the heart of America's wealthiest street and not saying a word. It started with the East St. Louis Massacre. July 1917, white mobs burned Black neighborhoods to the ground. At least 100 dead, thousands homeless, whole families were erased. But the government didn't care, the justice system didn't care, and America just expected us to take it in silence. So we gave them silence, but not the kind they wanted. The NAACP called for a protest in New York City. Not with chants, not with speeches, but with 10,000 Black people marching in total, deliberate silence down Fifth Avenue. They wore white to honor the dead. Children led at the front because this country needed to look into their faces. Men, women, children marched in rows, eyes forward, feet pounding pavement. And the only words came from the signs they were holding. Your hands are full of blood. We have fought for this country. Why can't we live in it? White New Yorkers stood on the sidewalk staring. Some were silent, some jeered, but no one could ignore them. Not when the line of Black bodies stretched farther than the eye could see. This wasn't for applause. There were no TV crews, no hashtags, just a demand, seen, not spoken. Because sometimes the most powerful thing that you can do is look your oppressor dead in the face and make them sit in the silence that they've left you with. The 1917 silent parade didn't end lynching, but it proved something that we forgot, that resistance doesn't always need a microphone. Sometimes it's the quiet ones they should be afraid of.
I gotta say this, every marginalized community that Black Americans supported in their movement, after those communities got where they wanted to go, they either distanced themselves from Black people or they became anti-Black. And that's from the immigrant community, the Latino and Asian community, to the LGBTIQ IA community, the black people in those communities, their voice and representation are marginalized. Check out the white feminist movement. Even though black American women are the foundation of feminist movements, Sojourner Truth, Bell Hooks, their voice are marginalized in those communities. They're not heard. Every time there's a feminist movement or a feminist event, the speakers are white women. And let's not talk about these immigrant communities. The Latino and Asian community have the same anti-black sentiments against the black American community that white nationalists have. None of these groups reciprocate the love. All these Asians and Latino representatives, they're against reparations. The feminist movement, they never put black women as the face of that movement, even though they're the foundation of that movement. And look at the LGBTIA ... community. If you don't look like Ellen DeGeneres, you're not gonna be recognized.
So I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about Caribbean cultures, and Black American culture came up, and he was talking about how, Black Americans don't have a culture. And I said, no, Black Americans definitely have a culture, especially me dating and being in love with a Black American, and being able to go back home to North Carolina with him and getting to meet his family and getting to see like all the things that they do have as far as like traditions, foods that they like to eat, what time of year they do different things. They do have a culture. And I had an epiphany when he was saying that, but I didn't get to say it in the moment because the conversation was going so fast. But I had this epiphany that as a Canadian-born Haitian woman living in America, everything I'm able to do is because I'm living within Black American culture. When I think about my career and all the big things that I've done, Black Americans have been tied to that. My first big network job was at BET, and that was because of a Black American woman by the name of Tanya Hoffler, who's been in the business for years. She saw something in me and she gave me that opportunity. And mind you, she gave it to me at a time where people in my community were telling me how I wasn't gonna be anything and I ain't shit and I'm a nobody. And they were doing all this because I had asked a DJ to stop tagging me in promotional flyers for parties that he did not want to pay me to attend. And their response to me was, "You're nobody." Meanwhile, a Black American gave me a job at a major network. I have a job with Hulu right now, and that came from Black Americans. I had a podcast for rap shit called Chat Shit, and that was on HBO. And you know why I was able to do the Chat Shit podcast on HBO? It was because of Issa Rae. That was her show, Issa Rae, Black American. I have been able to thrive because Black American culture exists. And I think that a lot of us that are, Haitian or Jamaican or Nigerian or whatever, African, or even those of us who are Afro-Latino, or even those of us who are not Black, who get to profit off of Black culture more than actual Blacks get to profit, you really have to give Black Americans their flowers, because a lot of us would not be able to thrive the way we do in America if it wasn't for Black American culture. We literally live off of Black American culture while we live within it. I'm literally a Canadian-born Haitian woman living in America, and I get to pay my bills off of my personality, off of the things that I say, and that is because of Black American culture. Within the Haitian culture, the things that I say is very not accepted. You know what I mean? And me being able to be bold and confident and say the things I want to say and say what I really want to say, when I want to say it, how I want to say it, that is because of the Black American culture. And I will always be thankful for that. And I think that those of us who are not Black American, but living here, especially those of us who are living here, we have to honor Black Americans. This is their fucking land. This land is their land, and we're on their land. We are on they shit. So give them their fucking flowers.
Other races don't respect us.
The other races, they don't respect us. People don't respect black people. They don't respect you. They don't listen to you. They barely take your words into consideration. They think you guys are a joke. They think black people are jokes. And can I tell you something? I think I get it. I know why they think you're jokes. Because you guys have this, you guys are just weird. Like to be honest, it's not even weird. Weird is not the right word. It's just, it's like backwards. It's giving backwards. You guys are just like, it's giving backwards. Like, you're not up to date with how things are. You just don't get it anymore. You don't get it. And the way you behave, it's so ugly. The way a lot of black people behave is too ugly. It's so ugly the way you guys behave. It's ugly. It's honestly ugly.
The silence is over. The old system cannot survive a generation that knows its worth. And the reason there is so much discomfort, tension, and chaos in America today is because Black America finally stopped whispering. The truth is out. The voices are loud. The awakening is here. And a system built on silence cannot survive a people who finally learn how to speak. And those people are Black Americans. Right? Let me see your thoughts in the comments. What has BJ said? Is that true? Did I just spoke your mind? Let me see that your thoughts in the comments. And do not forget to subscribe, like, share this video. My name is Blessing on Global Juice with BJ. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.